Well, hello there, and welcome back to part 5 of our character tutorial series. Today we're going to be doing some outfit modeling. As you can see here, I'm starting with the regular plane. We're going to be adding the classic modifiers that I pretty much use for 90% of my outfit modeling, which are, mirror, subdivide, shrink wrap, and solidify. I changed the shrink wrap to be project, and I solidify, I'll select only rim and make sure that the offset is set to +1. And with those basic settings, you can just enable snap mode at the very top and start doing your modeling. Right there, you just might have seen me press Shift E and added those creases in the corners so that they're sharp. You'll see me doing it right here again. This will allow you to basically use a subdivide surface modifier, but also have sharp corners. And yeah, we're gonna be going for a pretty simple outfit. I didn't want to do anything too complex. And here I'm just using a little bit slide relax to just kind of even out all the quads, make them like nice and just even. And because we're using, in the shrink wrap modifier, we're using that project modifier or option that allows us to basically have it so that in certain areas, the outfit might, be like floating and not like always, skin tight. So here I'm going to duplicate like an edge, and we're going to be getting rid of that solidify modifier, and instead we're going to be using a skin modifier, and also change the shrink wrap to be near a surface point. So the skin modifier basically will kind of create like a tube, and we're going to use this tube as like a rope or like a string that is going to connect all the pieces together. If you ever like duplicate like a mesh and using a skin modifier and it's not showing, make sure to mark root. There's a button where it's on the skin modifier where it says mark root. So select one of the vertices and mark it as a root, and then it will work again. As you saw there, I just duplicated one vertex, moved it a little bit closer to the pants, and I just pressed Control A. You can see that in the bottom left corner every time I do it, and I made sure to like make it a little bit bigger and kind of had those like balls that kind of connect the rope with the pants. So here I'm going to be using a pretty cool trick with the solidify modifier. So as you can see here, I just added a couple of loops and I beveled them. And then here I'm adding a group, like a vertex group. And then I'm selecting these midpoints and giving them 0.5. And then in the solidify modifier, I'm adding that group. And as you can see here, it allows us to kind of create this kind of like, like seam, I guess you can call it, without actually like, modeling it. like the, whatchamacallit, the solidify modifier basically does all the work for us. So just, to quickly, repeat what I did. All I did is I created a vertex group. I selected everything and I assigned it to that group. And then I selected those midpoints where I wanted the seam to be located. Just those vertices. And then in the group, I gave him, like, for example, 0.5. And then I assigned them. And then it just and obviously use that group on the solidify modifier. And it automatically, like, assigns that, solidify, I guess, weight to it. So once again, I'm still using the shrink wrap modifier, but the reason why it's not, being skin tight and I'm able to actually model it away from the skin is because I'm using that project wrap method that you can see right there on the right side. And basically, like, the easiest way to explain it is that everything that's, outside of the mesh, for example, in this case, the body, is going to just, stick out. But then if you try to move it, inside the body, it will, like, try to be skin tight, You can kind of see it there on the butt. And that's a very useful thing when it comes to, like, creating, for example, in this case, outfits and stuff. I often use the project modifier or the project wrap method when I'm creating dresses, for example. Because, like, for example, the top part of the dress, you want it to be, skin tight, but then, like, as you go down and, it's going, down on the leg part, you don't want it to be skin tight. You want it to just kind of, be, normal, just kind of like, floating there. So here I applied all the modifiers except the solidify, and you could just, like, for example, sculpt the detail, like, for example, if you want some wrinkles and stuff manually, or in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some classic cloth physics. So here I'm just selecting the corners, and this is going to be a group. I'm going to assign to that group, and this is going to be our pin group. And what the pin group means is that, like, when you enable cloth physics, everything is going to move except the pin group. So I'm giving here the body like a collision modifier, and then the cloth is going to have I guess this, like, skirt or whatever it's called is going to have the cloth modifier. And here I'm just changing some basic settings. And once I'm happy with the settings, I grab myself a timeline, and then I play it, and that should start the cloth physics. Make sure that the cloth modifier is above solidify. That's very important. And if you want more detail, you can also add, like, a multi-res above the cloth. And make sure to add that pin group. And now we're playing it. And as you can see here, it's doing the cloth shenanigans. After a while, we'll kind of, like, stabilize, and you can, look at it. You can also tweak the settings, do some shenanigans to make it look better. I think I was pretty happy with how it turned out, especially at the back. It looked pretty good. So then I applied the cloth thingy. And I also got rid of the collisions because I don't really need it anymore. And here I was, mostly happy with how it looked, but I decided, you know what, let me do a little bit, kind of manual, fixing here and there. I'm not really, like, a super expert when it comes to, wrinkles and stuff like that, but I know a couple of basic things here and there. So I was like, you know what, let me just add a little bit of stuff here. Nothing too much, just a little bit more. Obviously, cloth wrinkles and stuff are not supposed to be symmetrical, but I was like, you know what? It's fine if it's symmetrical. It's not going to be a big deal. So at this point, I added a shape key to the body. And I also did like a surface deform modifier on the top bra. So now I'm going to click on the body, and then I'm going to start creasing where I want the pinch to be for the squish. And here I'm just changing some settings here. And because I had added that surface deform modifier, that means that every time I sculpt the body, the bra itself is going to automatically move as well. So I don't have to manually, sculpt each of them, one by one. So as you can see here, I'm adding that squish, and the, instead of the bra just kind of, staying, it actually also moves as well. Yeah, that surface deform modifier is very powerful and very useful. It's actually so powerful that technically speaking, you could actually rig outfits without using the armature modifier and just using the surface deform. And some people even do that actually, which is kind of cool, not gonna lie. So you might be thinking, okay, so what are you doing now? What's going on? Why are you doing all this shenanigans? Well, the reason I'm doing this is because, there's this kind of like squish effect, right? That the bra is applying on the boobas, right? So that means we also have to like change the quote unquote like look of the boobas and like anatomy, because they're kind of being squished together. I need to kind of move them a little bit closer together and like, add them a little bit squishing here and there. Now you might be thinking, okay, well, how are they being squished together? Because like, aren't they just kind of like, glued to the boob? No. There's going to actually be a string between the breasts that's going to be like, folding them together. I'm going to add that string in a little bit. So yeah. Actually, I think we're going to be doing it now, yeah. And once again, you got your classic mirror subdivide and solidify modifiers. Nothing too special about it. So here, once again, we're going to be using that skin modifier to, create that string. And we're going to, kind of zigzag it. And then next up, we're gonna do like a very simple bow tie here. We can duplicate one of the vertices to create a knot, and then duplicate it again, and then start, you know, start another segment that's going to be, you know, the bow tie itself. So here I'm just kind of creating like a bracelet, and I'm starting with a donut, and I'm kind of like, you know, scaling these guys up so that they're kind of a little bit more like a bracelet shape. Mirror and subdivide, and then just kind of like, you know, position them. Once again, same story, you know, mirror, shrink wrap, subdivide, skin, and then, you know, you create this kind of like, you know, once again, some kind of like, you know, armlet. And here we're going to use the same thing we did with the top bra. We're going to select a couple of edges. I think we're going to bevel them as well. Yeah, I was thinking of like not beveling them, but I decided, you know what, I should probably bevel them. Yeah, do a little bit of a bevel, and then select the midpoints, give them a 0.5, and then give everything else just 1. And there you go. So here I decided to add a little bit more squish. So because those straps that we have, I think they have shrink wrap on them, but I think I applied that shrink wrap and decided to just mirror it again. And use surface deform. Yeah, because surface deform is, in some cases, a little bit better than shrink wrap. As you can see here, the shrink wrap modifier is not really working. Like, you can see the straps kind of like floating. And you might be thinking, oh no, you made a mistake. Well, actually, that's actually a very easy fix to do. So just unbind it, go back to your shape keys, turn it to 0, then bind it again, go back over here, and then turn the shape keys back to 1, and now it's fixed. So it's actually really easy to fix. And now you can go back to doing this stuff, and the surface deform modifier will work properly now. And as you can see here, we have that like slight squish. Now, obviously, if you want it to be like noticeable, you kind of have to do the squish a little bit harder and like, you know, a little bit deeper for it to be noticeable. But it's fine. I didn't go, you know, too hard on it. I just wanted it to be very slight. So here we're gonna do once again a little bit of like stuff with you know, wrinkles and stuff, but instead of, you know, doing the cloth physics like I did on the bottom part, we're going to be doing manual, you know, sculpting. I actually tried doing cloth physics here for the top, but it didn't really look that good, so I decided, you know what, we'll just do it manually. So here I just created a custom face group, and the way it's actually very easy. You just have to select the group where you want it to be in edit mode, and then you go to sculpt mode, and then you can just go face sets from edit mode selection, and that's going to create that face group. And the reason why I created that face group is because it's much easier to mask off sections that you don't want to like sculpt. So as you can see here, that corner, or not the corner, that border of the of the top is like masked, and it's not moving, and we don't want it to move because, you know, it would kind of like ruin the look. And there you go. I mean, it was pretty simple. All I did was just use the crease brush a little bit here and there to kind of create those wrinkles. I didn't really, you know, go too hard on it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Take care, my dudes, and have a good one. Bye bye.